But have you ever noticed how most men, they always start off very romantic, right? Most men are just doing this as an act to get what they want. So it's either to get sex or whatever, or to get a girlfriend, get a wife. Have you ever noticed how, as time goes on in the relationship, the dates are few and far between? They're farther apart. It went from going on a date twice a week to suddenly it's once a week, and then it's once every 2 weeks, and then it's once a month, and then it's once every 6 months.
Welcome to Manosphere Highlights Daily. Shout out to Patreon gang member Mr. McKinney for this video. This is his message. So I was hovering around YouTube and found a video you may be interested in. I listened to the video and thought, damn, you don't even know how or what you sound like. I almost cooked in the comments, but there was a lot to cover, and I don't even have my channel built like that. So here, special delivery. Mr. McKinney, salute! Thank you for the video topic request. This is not a diss video. I repeat, this is not a diss video, but it's definitely a video that highlights our disagreements with the content creator. This is a response to the video called Decentering Men, episode 19. Most men are not romantic. The content creator makes some interesting points, but her arguments consist of half-truths and opinions that are not based on data and statistics, which is done on purpose to please her audience, because in this case, half-truths benefit women. The whole truth doesn't. This insight is echoed by researchers such as Nora Vincent, Cassie J, Helen Smith, Sherazad Ali, and other women who have objectively studied the male and female dynamic. And like I always say, women always tell on themselves. Just let them talk long enough. Listen to this.
The average man only spends an average of $150 per month on romantic gestures. If all I need is $150 a month, for God's sakes, I can put a freaking Cash App on my Instagram, or I can start a YouTube channel and just talk shit online and make more than $150 a month.
Yes, she's talking a lot of shit. It's a hustle, it's a money grab. And with her $150 a month example, she does expose the foundation of the sense of entitlement modern women have. She says this almost at the end of her 45-minute video. Yes, I had to listen to everything to make a proper response video for you guys. We don't talk shit because that will only make you feel good in the moment, but won't help you in the long run. She's not helping women with this video. More about that later. Now, before we get into whether men are romantic or not, it is crucial to ask ourselves, do men owe women romance? I'm going to ask this question a lot in this presentation because the romantic desires that prevail in modern society are not inherently ingrained in men's biological instincts. But as social beings with a natural tendency to form connections, we strive to be together. This means romance is learned behavior. It's cultural and something that men can learn if necessary, as studies on the cultural and learned aspects of romantic love suggest. That's why the question, do men owe women romance? If the answer is yes, then there should be a factor of importance, worthiness, or some critical reason or reasons why this is essential. Her video is 45 minutes long, so we will focus on the information that's consistent and break our video down in 4 chapters in 4 videos, with this video being the first installment. Fairy tales are not for the average man. Women's definition of romance. Her bad examples easily destroyed. Her terrible advice for women. Let's talk about it. We men ain't we? Yeah. We men ain't we? Yeah.
Hey Pretty Girl Club, welcome to another episode of the Decentering Men series. In this episode, I'm going to talk about how most men are not romantic. A lot of us have been socialized since we were young to believe that we're going to find our Prince Charming and we're just going to spend our lives serving him. That's another undertone that I never really liked about the way that people socialized us as little girls. So you would go from serving the evil stepmother to now having the privilege of spending your life serving your Prince Charming or serving the king and sitting beside him on his throne.
Stop it right there. She leads with incomplete information and a crooked opinion. She's telling her side of the fairy tale, not our side. As you can see, the fairy tale doesn't include the average Joe. It revolves around Prince Charming. This means common women become princesses. Royalty. Serving your prince as a princess or your king as a queen isn't the experience of your everyday person. It is a privilege. An extremely important aspect of the Cinderella fairy tale that people, especially women, overlook is that the fairy tale plays out in the 1800s. Let's have a look at the most common jobs from the 1800s. Blacksmith, carpenter, wagon maker, saloon keeper, tailor. Farming was by far the most common occupation in the 19th century America and Europe. If this is an African American woman speaking, she has to be careful because slavery was part of the 1800s. You were not gonna put your Cash App on social media and run your mouth. In the 1800s, work was largely physical and many jobs required manual labor. Industries such as agriculture, manufacturing, and construction heavily relied on physical strength and manual skills. In other words, men were working their butts off. Women don't tell you this side of the fairy tale because it doesn't suit their narrative. Let's have a look at the most common jobs from 2024. Do you see any farming or blacksmiths? No, you don't. But what you do see is nursing. Nursing is one of the most common jobs in the US. If you're a nurse working in a US clinic or hospital, there's an 87.9% chance that your nursing colleagues are women. Healthcare is big business. It's not a coincidence that they don't want you healthy, even though we are much healthier than in the 1800s. Janice, read.
Comparing death causes between 1867 and 1980. To show how periods of history compare, 100 chronological deaths were copied from the Kent County, Michigan, courthouse for the years 1867 and 1980. In the 1867 sampling of 100 deaths, 26 children under 18 months died compared to one in 1980. The average age of death in 1867 was 26.8 years compared to 77.4 in 1980. In 1867, consumption, tuberculosis, claimed the lives of 18, childhood diseases, 8, childbirth, 4, and typhoid fever, 5. These causes of death were non-existent in the 1980 sampling.
Do you think romance is the priority in these harsh living conditions? Do you think it's a coincidence that these effinists come out of the woodwork when the world is built, when the world is safe, when society is advanced to the point that a woman doesn't directly need to depend on a man to survive? This is why women, effinists in particular, are easily schooled on these topics because they have the tendency to exclude the sociological and biological aspects that impact human behavior. Listening to her video feels like hearing a spoiled brat. Compared to royalty, the majority of the population in the 1800s faced various economic challenges and lower living standards. If a prince wants to marry you in the 1800s, he's doing you more than a favor, and you would happily serve him. Women love fairy tales because they can all be princesses one day. But this isn't our story. It's not the tale of the average man. Yet, women expect us to treat them like princesses. She mentions the Disney princess syndrome, where many women are socialized to believe in this fairy tale and suffer from unrealistic expectations. Keep this in mind because she's going to use this fairy tale as an analogy to argue that men are not romantic. Let's continue.
But have you ever noticed how most men, they always start off very romantic, right? Most men are just doing this as an act to get what they want. So it's either to get sex or whatever, or to get a girlfriend, get a wife. Have you ever noticed how, as time goes on in the relationship, the dates are few and far between? They're farther apart. It went from going on a date twice a week to suddenly it's once a week, and then it's once every 2 weeks, and then it's once a month, and then it's once every 6 months. Romance is something that men often use as leverage to get what they want out of a woman. A lot of men will dangle romance in front of your face, or they will dangle the possibility of a romance in front of your face to get you to chase him, or to get you to kind of seek his validation or spend time with him.
Okay, you tell me what happens when a man walks straight up to random women and asks them if they would like to sleep with him. 10 out of 10 times, the answer is no, even if the women find this man attractive. The other way around, it's 75% of men who would say yes if a woman would ask them to sleep with her. They've done a study about this a long time ago, but it still holds true to this day. A man learns early on that a direct approach strategy doesn't work. He understands that in order to get what he wants, he has to give something back in return. He has to give her what she wants. The woman seems to struggle with this concept because to the woman, romance is to receive. Check this out.
If you see an attractive man in your sights, would you approach him?
No, but I would align myself to where he could see me, and then he can make the decision. So like, say he's over there, I'm like, let me get a drink, a round of shots for the bar. You can see me, and then you have the choice to be like, is this something I would want to pursue? And then that's kind of how I would make my move. But I would not be like, here's a drink for me and you. Absolutely not, no.
Women love romance, but they are not romantic. I repeat, women love romance, but they are not romantic. They are extremely passive in their approach because they are extremely superficial. Once again, do men owe women romance? Why do you think romance in a relationship stops? A car stops driving without fuel. Women are extremely passive when it comes to getting what they want from men, because that is exactly how women want to achieve their goals. They just want to show up and receive the world. They don't want to earn it. They don't want to build it, but they are the first ones to feel entitled to it. Let's take it a step further.
Not to mention the fact that most men can't even afford to be romantic. Being romantic costs money. It costs money to buy flowers every week. It costs money to take you to a nice restaurant. It costs money to find nice places to go, gas money and stuff like that. And most men, they don't even have the extra income or the extra funds to even afford that.
There you go. The saying goes, there is no romance without finance. Prince Charming doesn't have financial problems. Belle and the Beast don't work if the Beast is broke and doesn't turn into a handsome prince. Society has conditioned men and women to believe relationships are based on romance, a fairy tale. That's why relationships don't last in modern times. Women believe men should spend money on them for validation and proof of love.
Why would I spend $200 plus on you if I just met you?
Because you're trying to win me, like.
Oh, okay.
You're trying to court me. Yes, I'm the prize.
Where you work again?
In modern society, women are bombarded with this modern version of the fairy tale. That's why the price has gone up. An average income doesn't cut it. Cheesecake Factory doesn't cut it. A $100 engagement ring doesn't cut it. A $500 wedding dress doesn't cut it. These are all elements of romantic love addiction that consistently need a higher dose in order to be satisfied.
You think I deserve a coffee date?
On the other hand, men are made to believe that the woman is the prize. Just her presence alone is a blessing, and having her as a wife will complete you, solve all your problems. That's why we have to do everything in our power to make her happy, because a happy wife is a happy life.
Instead, you wanted me to take you to like what? You wanted me to take you to
a restaurant. You know, you're supposed to wine and dine me. You're supposed to be a man. What's your excuse here? We're at Starbucks.
Unfortunately, men learn an important lesson that the fairy tale teaches us after finally getting our woman. Princesses are boring. Cinderella doesn't do anything. Belle doesn't do anything. Sleeping Beauty sleeps for 100 freaking years. Sleeping Beauty took the concept of a power nap to a whole new level. That's a century of snoozing, making doing nothing the ultimate fairy tale skill. Yet, Prince Charming falls deeply in love with all of them and upgrades them to princess status. Remember this?
I can go, it's fine.
I would like to know more about you.
There's really not much to know about me.
50 Shades of Grey is the adult version of the fairy tale. And just like all the other princesses, there's not much about this woman. Yet, the handsome billionaire Christian Grey, aka Prince Charming, is crazy about her just for showing up. Nora Vincent talked about it in her book. Listen to this.
Pass my test, and then we'll see if you're worthy of me, was the implicit message coming across the table at me. And this from women who had demonstrably little to offer. Be light-hearted, they said, though buoyant as Led Zeppelins themselves. Be kind, they insisted in the harshest of tones. Don't be like the others, they implied, while having virtually condemned me as such beforehand.
Women are not as fun as they think they are, and men come to this conclusion with the help of post-nut clarification. We fall in love with the idea of the woman, not the reality, because reality is not romantic. Reality is the love potion only lasts up to 2 to 3 years. The early stages are the most intense. Reality is women are not capable of keeping you inspired and motivated just with their punani alone. That's why sex and romance were never the foundation of long-term relationships. The woman was never the prize. The purpose always came before the woman. Survival, procreation, religion, etc. With these elements no longer playing a major role in modern society, modern women think life is all about them.
Do you not comprehend who I am, what I look like, and you think that I deserve a coffee date?
They've elevated themselves to goddess status and demand one-sided romance, expecting men to shower them with chocolates, teddy bears, dinner dates, shopping sprees, and original, consistently exceeding recreational trips. She explains this in her video. This takes us to the next chapter, and we'll see you in the next installment of this video breakdown. Patreon supporters, salute! Man, that's where we working. Protect yourself at all times. This video has officially been highlighted.